It is not a specter of the dead. It is the ghost of a wound. An old injustice. A betrayal that cut so deep it reshaped the landscape of your soul. This ghost doesn't haunt your house. It haunts your present moment. It whispers to you in the quiet of the night, replaying the scene, sharpening the edges of the memory, reminding you of what was taken. We call this haunting the dead of scars. It is the profound, aching belief that you are owed something for your pain. An apology. A reckoning. An eye for an eye. And until that debt is paid, you cannot be whole. You stand on the shore of your own life, waiting for a ship that may never arrive. But what if the waiting is the prison? What if the demand for payment is the very thing that keeps you in chains? Stay with me on this journey. By its end, you will understand the true, crippling cost of this debt, and you will discover the one path that leads not to repayment, but to peace. Have you ever noticed how the past is not a foreign country? For you, it is the very soil under your feet. You feel the debt of your scar every time you hesitate to trust someone new. The ghost of that old wound steers your hand, tells you, remember what happened last time. Be careful. Build your walls higher. You feel it in the heat that rises in your chest when a certain name is mentioned, or when you see a face that reminds you of them. The world goes silent, and for a moment, you are back there, in that room, on that day. The injustice of it is a cold, heavy stone in your gut. It feels as real today as it did then. Perhaps it was a friend who, in a moment of weakness or malice, shared a secret you had entrusted to them like a fragile bird in their hands. They crushed it. And now, when someone tries to get close, you show them only the empty cage. Perhaps it was a parent, who was meant to be your harbor, but instead became the storm. They taught you that love was conditional, that affection had to be earned, and you have spent your entire life trying to be worthy of a prize that was never real. You believe that holding onto this anger, this demand for justice, is a source of strength. You think of it as a shield. You tell yourself, I will not forget what they did. To forget is to let them win. To forgive is to say it was okay. But here is the hidden cost, the terrible irony of the debt of scars. The prison you have so carefully constructed for the one who wronged you, has only ever had one inmate. You. You are the one who rehearses the arguments in the shower. You are the one whose sleep is disturbed by the ghosts of yesterday. They, the debtor, may be living their life, entirely unaware of the vast emotional real estate they occupy, rent-free, in your mind. The debt is not just your anger. The debt is the joy you cannot fully feel. It is the love you cannot fully receive. It is the future you are sacrificing on the altar of a past you cannot change. You are the warden, the guard, and the prisoner, all in one. And the days, they just keep slipping by. The scene shifts. We see a vast, snowy expanse. Tall pines are heavy with snow. A lone figure, a woman, is meticulously cleaning a complex piece of machinery, a large, powerful crossbow. Her movements are precise, obsessive. This is Hild. To understand how to break these chains, we must travel to the frozen heart of the Norse world. Here, amidst the unforgiving beauty of the ice, we find a woman named Hild. Hild is a genius. An inventor, an engineer, a peerless huntress. But for a decade, her genius has been yoked to a single, all-consuming purpose: vengeance. As a child, her life was shattered. Her family and her master were murdered before her eyes by a band of mercenaries. The one who killed her father, a boy no older than a child himself, with eyes as empty as a winter sky, was a young Viking named Thorfinn. Hild is the ultimate creditor of a scar. Her debt is absolute. A life for a life. For years, she has hunted him. Her entire identity, her skills, her thoughts, her future, has been forged in the fire of this single need. She believes that putting a crossbow bolt through Thorfinn's heart is the only thing that can quiet the ghosts. But when she finally finds him, something is wrong. This is not the hollow-eyed demon from her memory. This is a man broken by his own past, a man who has sworn off violence and is desperately, clumsily trying to atone. He offers her his life. He agrees that the debt must be paid. And in this moment, Hild is faced with the terrible truth of vengeance. This brings us to the solution, the philosophical key that unlocks the prison. It is this: true freedom is not found in settling the debt, but in redefining its terms. Hild's journey teaches us three profound principles about escaping the prison of our own scars. First, the ghost in the machine. The person who wronged you did more than just create a painful memory. They installed a ghost in the machine of your mind. This ghost is not the memory of the event itself. It is the set of rules, beliefs, and fears that you created to survive it. For Hild, the ghost's rule was simple. Asterisk, the world is a place of savage violence. To be safe, you must become the most dangerous thing in it. This rule drove her to become a brilliant hunter. It kept her alive. But it also kept her completely alone, trapped in a loop of her own trauma. Her entire existence became a reaction to Thorfinn's long-ago sin. He was the sun, and her life was a planet trapped in his gravitational pull. You must understand this. Your grudge is not a simple emotion. It is an operating system. It dictates who you trust, what risks you take, how you see the world. It believes it is protecting you, but it is only preserving the wound. Second, the Mirage of Justice. Hild spent years believing in the Mirage. The Mirage says, if I can balance the scales, I will find peace. If he takes a life, he must give a life. It seems so simple, so pure, so just. But look closer. If Hild kills Thorfinn, does she get her father back? Does her childhood return? No. The scales are not balanced. A second crime doesn't erase the first. It only adds another body to the pyre. Killing the monster Thorfinn would have been simple. But killing the man he has become, a man who understands his sin, is different. To kill him now would not be justice. It would be to make herself into the very thing she has spent her life hunting. It would be to prove that the boy demon who destroyed her life was right about the world. Vengeance is a mirage in the desert of pain. From a distance, it looks like water. But when you finally reach it, you find it is only more sand, more heat, more thirst. Third, atonement is a living verb. This is the most crucial principle. Thorfinn offers his death as payment. It is a quick, clean transaction. But Hild, in a moment of profound insight, rejects it. She realizes that his death is easy. It ends the story. It silences him forever. Living is harder. She realizes that true atonement cannot be a single act of payment. Death is an ending. Atonement must be a process, a continuous action. It is a living verb. Thorfinn's new mission is to create a land of peace, a society without weapons or slaves, a place. He seeks to build a future that actively counteracts his past. Hild's choice is extraordinary. She does not forgive him. The word is never spoken. Forgiveness would be a lie. The scar is too deep. Instead, she says, show me. Prove it. I will follow you to the end of the world. And if you ever stray from this path, if you ever pick up a sword again, the new payment is not his death. She becomes the active judge of his future atonement. This is the key. The path out of the prison is not to burn it down with the debtor inside. It is to transform the prison cell into a workshop, where the debtor is forced, day by. So, how do we, in our own lives, face the unforgivable? How do we begin the journey from creditor to judge, from prisoner to observer? It is not easy. It is the work of a lifetime. But it begins with a few conscious steps. Here is a practical guide to redefining the debt of your own scars. Step 1. Map the scar. Tonight, or tomorrow, find a quiet space. Take a piece of paper or a journal. We are going to conduct an honest accounting, but not the one you are used to. Do not write down what the other person did to you. That story is well rehearsed. It is the stone you've been carrying. Instead, I want you to answer this question. Who did I become after the wound? Write down the changes in your own behavior, your own beliefs. Be brutally honest. Did you become less trusting? More cynical? Did you become afraid of intimacy? Did you build a wall around your heart? Did you start expecting the worst from people? Did you become a people pleaser, terrified of conflict, because conflict is what caused the initial wound? This is the true, hidden cost of the debt. It is not their single action in the past. It is your ongoing transformation in the present. This list, this map of your own scar tissue, is the real territory we need to navigate. You cannot heal what you do not first acknowledge. Step 2. Conduct the ghost's audit. For the next 7 days, You will become an observer of your own mind. Your task is to audit the ghost in your machine. Carry a small notebook, or use an app on your phone. Every time you feel that familiar surge of resentment, that old anger, that defensive posture, pause. Do not judge it. Do not suppress it. Simply notice it. And in that moment of noticing, ask the ghost one simple question. What are you trying to protect me from right now? When your new partner says something that reminds you of your ex, and you feel yourself pulling away, ask the ghost. What are you protecting me from? The answer will likely be, I am protecting you from being hurt like that again. When your boss gives you feedback and you feel a defensive rage build, ask the ghost. What are you protecting me from? The answer might be, I am protecting you from feeling humiliated and powerless, like you did when your parent criticized you. You will begin to see that your grudge is not just anger. It is a misguided security guard. It is a primitive defense mechanism that is still fighting a war that ended long ago. By auditing its actions, you start to separate the ghost's programming from your own conscious self. You create a space between the trigger and your reaction. Step 3. Define atonement, not vengeance. This step requires a radical act of imagination. Think of the person who created your deepest scar. Imagine they came to you. Not to apologize. Words are cheap. Imagine they came to you and asked, what action can I take, starting today and for the rest of my life, that would constitute a meaningful atonement in your eyes? What would you ask for? Vengeance is easy. Suffer as I suffered. Atonement is harder. It requires creativity. If they betrayed your trust, would their atonement be to live a life of radical honesty? If they were cruel, would their atonement be a life dedicated to acts of kindness? Think deeply about this. What action would begin to repair the fabric of the world that their action tore? Now, here is the crucial pivot. Release them from this imaginary task. You cannot control them, but you can control you. Take the act of atonement you designed for them, and turn it inward. Make it your own life's work. If their betrayal taught you that people cannot be trusted, your act of atonement to yourself is to find small, safe ways to practice trust again. Not with them, but with yourself, with new people. Your mission is to heal the part of you that they broke. If their criticism made you feel worthless, your act of atonement to yourself is to relentlessly practice self-compassion, to build your own sense of value from the inside out, on foundations so deep they cannot be shaken by the opinions of others. You take responsibility, not for the wound, but for the healing. You are no longer waiting for them to fix what they broke. You are now the builder. Step 4. The Crossbow Test. This is a final, powerful visualization, inspired by Hild's ultimate choice. Close your eyes. Find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed. In your mind's eye, see the person who wronged you. They are standing before you. And in your hands, you hold a crossbow. It is loaded. It is aimed. You have the power, right now, to enact the justice you have craved for so long. Feel the weight of the weapon. Feel the tension in the string. You can pull the trigger. You can let the bolt fly. You can satisfy the ghost. But before you do, ask yourself Hild's question. Not, do they deserve this? But, what happens the day after? If you pull this trigger, if you send that angry text, if you ruin their reputation, if you spend the rest of your life hating them, what does your life look like the next morning? And the morning after that? Will you wake up free? Or will you wake up bound to their memory more tightly than ever before, now not just as their victim, but as their executioner? Will the silence in your mind be peace, or will it be the deafening echo of your own final, binding act? Hild stood on that frozen shore, crossbow aimed at a kneeling Thorfinn, and she understood. She understood that pulling the trigger would end Thorfinn's story, but it would trap her and hers forever. Lowering the crossbow was the only way to unchain herself from his past. And so, in your mind, you too must make the choice. See what it feels like. Not to forgive. Not to forget. But simply, to lower the weapon. To take a breath. And to walk away, not because they deserve it, but because you do. The scene returns to the windswept shore. But now, the sun is breaking through the clouds, casting long, golden rays over the water. The mood is no longer one of desolate melancholy, but of quiet, hard-won peace. The proof of this philosophy is not found in theory, but in the story's outcome. Hild does not forgive Thorfinn. She does not embrace him. She does not absolve him. Instead, she becomes his shadow, his conscience. She joins his quest to build Vinland, the land of peace. And in doing so, her life finds a new purpose. Her genius, once dedicated to the engineering of death, is now used for the engineering of life. She designs tools for farming, for building, for creating. Her healing does not come from forgetting the past, but from actively building a future that is its antithesis. This is the heart of restorative justice, a concept that modern psychology is only now beginning to fully appreciate. It argues that true justice is not about punishment, but about repairing the harm. Studies of victim-offender mediation have shown that when a victim is given a voice, when a perpetrator is made to understand the real-world consequences of their actions and engage in acts of repair, the psychological healing for both parties is immeasurably greater than that which comes from simple incarceration. Viktor Frankl, a man who survived the ultimate horrors of the Holocaust, wrote, "When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves." Hild could not change the fact that her father was dead. She could not unmake Thorfinn the murderer. But she could challenge herself to change. She evolved from a ghost haunted by the past into an architect of the future. She proved that the heaviest chains we carry are the ones we refuse to see are in our own hands. Peace is not the absence of the scar. Peace is the discovery of a new purpose for the life that survived the wound. The final shots are slow and meditative. A hand running through a field of wheat. A simple wooden home being built. The faces of people working together, weary but hopeful. The narrator's tone is calm, final, and encouraging. The depth of your scar may feel infinite. The pain may feel unforgivable. And perhaps it is. Perhaps some things are beyond the reach of that simple word. But a life of meaning, of purpose, of peace, that is never beyond reach. Hild's journey teaches us that the ultimate choice is not between vengeance and forgiveness. It is between being defined by your wound, or being defined by how you choose to live with it. So I leave you with a question. Think about your own scars, the debts you feel you are owed. In the comments below, I want you to answer this. Is there a difference between forgiveness and acceptance? And which one do you believe is the true path to peace? There are no right answers, only honest ones. Share your thoughts with this community. If you, too, are searching for a way to build a more peaceful world, first within yourself, and then without, join our stead. Subscribe to the Farmland Preacher and walk this path with us. Hild's story forced us to look at the scars left by others. But what happens when the greatest battle is not with someone else, but with the warrior you yourself used to be? To explore that internal struggle, I recommend you watch our next video. Askeladd's Ghost. How to kill the person you were. Thank you for your time. Go now, and build.